Good morning. My name is Elijah Miranda, and today I will be presenting the effects of clashing philosophical perspectives on modern-day society. So first of all, what is perspective? Perspective, as defined by Merriam-Webster Dictionary, is a mindset or a particular attitude one may have when gauging a topic. So in other words, to further grasp this idea of perspective is a perception, point of view, or a prospect. In this first image here, the figure that looks to be a 9 to one person and a 6 to another clearly defines what a perspective is, as from one's quite literal point of view, which showed that it is a 6, while the other shows that it is a 9. In the second image here, it shows how perspective can be applied to the modern society. How in the material 3D pavement art, Joe Hill has art on the sidewalk, and it can be described, it can be seen as a magnificent creation out of something bland, such as a sidewalk. So some examples of the clashing philosophies that I have are anthropocentrism versus ecocentrism. Anthropocentrism being the belief that humans were created to have dominion over the earth and create and handle all the resources on the land. And ecocentrism being the focus that nature is the center of, is what should be focused on and should be taken care of by humans. The second one is communism versus capitalism, in which communism is the belief how we should share the freedom and each person has their own individual right to own a resource, while in capitalism it is given to a private business company while making one having to relinquish their own freedom. The next one is optimism versus pessimism, and how, if you've ever heard of is the glass half full or half empty, if you've seen it as half full, then you would be seen as an optimist, seeing that there is something to look forward to as there is hope. Pessimism, you would see the glass as half empty, meaning that you don't see anything and believe that negativity will often take over goodness. My last example is universality versus relativism. Universality being that the universe was created with set facts and set truths, while relativism being that everything is perspective-based truth, which is what created all of these previous philosophies. So now for my research question, are the clashing mindsets actually detrimental to today's society? So before we answer this question, it is important to take some factors into consideration, such as, do they cause any current conflicts? The answer to this question is yes, as the Census Bureau of the United States determined that there is actually still a wage gap, as a study done in 2016. How the average woman still makes $21 less than the average male to each dollar that he makes. Has it caused any past conflicts? Yes. An example of a past conflict that a clashing philosophy caused was World War II and the Cold War, as in communism was a strong belief for the Soviet Union and Vietnam, as they believed in that philosophy over capitalism with the United States. Has it assisted in the developing of modern day culture, and has it caused any common changes that we see today? The answer to these questions are also yes. Because as you see here, in China, the business etiquette is determined on solely philosophy, as China has been a philosophy-based nation for quite a while with their belief in Confucianism, Taoism, and legalism. So I drew inspiration from two stimulus source materials, the historian as participant being the first one, as in Schlesinger believes that there are two views on society, on historians, as in there is one that views it at the time when it's happening, and he defines those as eyewitness, and the other which are historians who look at the broad overview. The next one is attitudes towards Muslim women in the West, as she explains how the view of Americans on Muslim women and the Muslim culture has been tainted by 9/11, and she explains how it is not really as bad as everyone sees it to be. And in this, she explains how burqa is their form of dress. She goes out into culture and it makes them have a sense of homeness, and it gives them culture freedom. So taking all these factors together, I determined that this is not detrimental to modern day society, well, even though everything is clashing and fighting, contradicting each other. In my conclusion, I state that these solutions, more so of a way to make these clashing philosophies more efficient and prominent in today's society, is to increase the educational value with students and even the importance of philosophy, and to question what you don't understand. As children, we are told to question what we don't understand to make sure we get everything that we need to further grasp the knowledge. So my limitations and implications to these solutions, to the first one being that there would be no academic comprehension of the students about the philosophical views of society. The second one being there would be little interest in that there would be an economic issue, as some schools around the world, they are already poor and they cannot afford to have another class to teach the youth of this philosophy. The morality issue with my second solution being that we would question everything. This means that we would essentially create arguments and debates, further possibly driving our nation into and the next one is that it could create paranoia within the nation, how it did in World War II, how the media took control over everyone using their false news of propaganda as shown here. So the significance of my topic in today's society is that it would affirm that the whole world has a grasp on philosophy and that it sparks debate and creates new technologies such as the Google here. The next one is that it supplies jobs. This one is very important because here in the Nike sweatshop, it shows that there are two different philosophies that people can have with a moral dilemma. One being that the people who work in the factories, they earn money to support their families and support themselves. However, they're doing grueling work to do so. So there would be another side saying to not do it because the work is too grueling and they're simply not earning enough.
All right. So let me ask you a couple questions. So, excuse me. How did you handle the different perspectives in order to reach a conclusion?
Well, I took all the factors into account, such as what it does to our youth if we were to have them learn about philosophy and how it would affect them socially and morally, how they would have a different outlook on the world.
Okay. And if you have more time with additional research would you conduct related to this topic?
I would conduct research that has to do with the even more perspectives that has to do, such as politically, or how this would affect the environment, or how this would affect us in the future generations, how philosophy would change our viewpoints on everything as it creates debate and sparks new technology, as I said.
All right.